Hey everybody, it is Richard Harris here with my good friend Susan Ibitz, who I'll introduce a little bit more in depth in a moment. But thank you so much for joining us for the hostage negotiation sales training for your team. We are super excited to teach you several things today. We're going to first spend a little bit of time talking about the mindset and the mentality of what it means to do some active listening, what your buyers are going through when you're talking to them. And then we're going to turn it over for the fun part to Susan, where she really starts talking about hostage negotiation tactics, which I know is what most people are here for. So thank you very much. Obviously, my name is Richard Harris from the Harris Consulting Group and Sales Hacker. My contact information is there by all means. Yes, that's my real cell phone number. So if you ever text or call me, you'll get me, not some spam thing. And I want to take a moment and introduce Susan, who is from Human Behavior Lab, as well as the Human Behavior Hacker School, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out this hacker school, it's very cool. There's a lot of free content on negotiation and communication that I think you would love. So Susan, please say hello to everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and so excited and honored to be partnered with Richard to do this training and all the advanced training. So stay tuned. My name is Susan Ibitz. I'm a human behavior hacker. Some people hack computers. I hack humans. I'm a hostage negotiator and I'm a profiler. And how I apply this to sales, why Richard and I, we are together like, what? Why you have been drinking? No, it's the sales craft and the behavior together to take you to a level that you can read everybody in 90 seconds. If you're learning these two hacks separated, never gonna get to the top. So we pair with Richard to make sure that you can profile everyone like a profiler, like a hostage negotiator, and you can negotiate every situation. So be ready because this is gonna be a ride.
Thanks, Susan. And yes, she's done this to me several times in the run up to this. So I can tell you that it is not creepy, I promise, but it is fun. But it's really insightful. And that's one of the reasons we've decided to partner with Human Behavior Lab and Susan. And there will be more announcements around that coming in the near future. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to point out is that if in life, I don't care if it's in business or personal, whatever you want to define as success, we have to raise our standards, right? Life will not lower its standard for us, unfortunately. So that means we always have to have an open mind, being curious, right? Keep that growth mindset. We hear all these phrases in sales a lot, but this is why we're doing it. That's the important piece for me is, because I want to be more successful than I am today. And so I just want to sort of put this out there. These are a couple of companies we both work with, so we just want people to know that we work with all kinds of companies. Susan has even more. I know she'll show you in a bit. And she also works with a lot of lawyers, which I think is very good because they're going through a lot of, having to read people and trying to get specific answers that they're looking for in a slightly different way, but very similar to sales. Today, please keep an open mindset. It's like a parachute. If we don't keep an open mindset, then it's just not going to work. Now, we're not here to make everybody come out and change every little thing they do today. If you want to, that's great. But we do want to encourage everyone to find those 1, 2, or 3 nuggets that are the things that you're going to want to focus on. And through that, over in the chat, I've actually put in a document, a link to a document that is your takeaway, right? It's a, hey, here are the skills I want to focus on. Here's what I want to work on. Here are the notes I want to take. So feel free to go and click on that link in the chat and use that document as you see fit for you. So I want to first start with listening with empathy. And by the way, I'm going fast because I want to get through my stuff to Susan. My stuff's good. Susan's, I think, is the most fun. So
I am the monkey. I always says the same. I am the monkey. You're the
yeah, exactly. But you're way more important, way more important. So and we want to talk about active listening, right? We talk about this, we hear about this, but the key to success, and it's certainly well outside of sales, is being a good listener, right? And it means you have to concentrate fully on the words someone else is speaking. The reason we want to do that is because we want to build something, and I'm going to talk about that. The goal of this exercise, though, the goal of really talking about active listening is to get you to give yourself that, I call it that 1 centimeter of space, that 1 centimeter of space in your mind where you're not trying to just answer their question, but you're trying to hear what they say and get in their mindset, not in a manipulative way, but to really drive that understanding, because we're going to look to create empathy, right? We talk about empathy, but why do we drive empathy? Because it's about trust. And so often trust is more interesting and compelling in business than it is likability. If someone will trust us or we trust someone else, it's very natural you're going to like them. There are lots of people I've met in life that I think are fun, but I don't know that I would trust them entirely. Our goal is to always have people fall in trust with us, right? This is that part where I know when I start to hear those phrases around, okay, this sounds good, Richard. Richard, this aligns with what I'm looking for. Richard, yes, this is exactly what I need. Now I know I've got their trust. So these are the pieces of the elements of active listening. So one is massive focus, right? Whether it's looking at the camera more often than looking at them. Sometimes you do need to look at them. Whether it's putting your cell phone away or getting rid of fidget spinners and all those things. It is the eye contact. It's the body posture and the smiling, which Susan's going to get into today. That's going to be the best part. But note taking. When someone sees you taking notes, they know you're listening, right? So if you've ever seen, the legal shows where they tell the defendant to write stuff down on the notepad, oftentimes they're not writing anything. They're just telling them to do that to send that visual cue that, hey, this person's paying attention, and I like someone who pays attention. So there's verbal and nonverbal cues, right? We want to try and not be judgmental. We want to ask good questions. We're going to talk about mirroring later again with Susan. We're going to talk about summarizing. And then there's extreme patience, right? This is the part that I know people have the biggest challenge with in sales. If you'll go into the chat and just answer this question, which is, how many people have ever been told they're very impatient? Not whether or not you believe it, but have you been told that? So we'll take a second, go pop that in the chat, and we'll see. So I see a lot of yeses coming through.
It's like a Christmas light tree pumping out.
Yes. So yeah, this is pretty natural for salespeople. So recognizing this and owning it and acknowledging it are super important. I wouldn't tell you to stop being impatient. That's just not innate in you. But if you can recognize it, now you can try to manage it a little differently. And our goal through all this listening is really to make sure that, your prospect can hear themselves as much as we hear them. That's a really big piece. They need to hear it out loud. We want them to say it versus us say it, right? And so that's the part that we're really driving to. So I'm going to go forward. I know I'm going kind of fast, but I want to make sure people really understand how all this sort of applies, and then we'll flip it over to Susan. There are 3 ego states. This is the piece called transactional analysis. This is how every human makes a decision. Whether you're buying a new flat screen TV, $100,000 on software, a new car, a new house, whatever it is, these are the pieces that you go through to make a decision. You have a child ego state. This is your emotional you. This is where your feelings are stored. When you lose a deal and it hurts, it's your inner child. We joke about it sometimes, but it's real. When you get into an argument with somebody and you're feeling like your feelings got hurt, that's your inner child. Here's what you want to understand around this from a business perspective is that your inner child says, I want it. Same with your prospects and customers. And the child ego is where the decision originates. At some point, somebody wants to talk to you. Now, that doesn't mean they want to buy from you, but they certainly want to put time on their calendar, take time out of their day and talk to you. If you're an SDR and you're cold calling, they want to give you the next 30 seconds to hear what you have to say, right? That's a piece of what you're trying to do. So this is one part of the ego state. You have another part of the ego state, which is the rational you. This is the adult ego state. This is that part where in decisions where you do pros and cons and pluses and minuses and upsides and downsides. This is your rational being. This is the part of the business, the part of the mind that gives you permission to move forward. So again, if you're an SDR, can I have 5 seconds to tell you why I'm calling? Sure. Can I? And someone says yes. Well, in a split second, they've been able to make a rational decision that this is worth their time. Now, here's the other side of this, which is you have a parent ego state. The parent ego state, often seen as the critical one, is really the one that passes judgment. And it's the one that teaches good and bad, right or wrong, appropriate or inappropriate. So it's giving approval or judgment. So in that moment of a sales call, right, can I set up the next meeting? Can I introduce you to my AE? Can you introduce me to the next level of the decision-making process? Part of that decision is going through, okay, is this good or bad for the next thing that I need to do, right? Which is, is it the good thing or a bad thing? Which then relates to, well, if it's good, then there's a pro to go forward. And then if not, there's a con to go backward. So you can see how all these things, cross over, which I'll visualize for you here. There are times you can be talking to your customer or prospect and you're both in 2 different ego states. You're almost always in 2 different ego states. You want to try to get to an adult to adult ego state in some cases. Sometimes you have to go through different places to get there, but that's where you're driving. Sometimes your prospect is in a parent ego state. Now, the challenge is that because we've all been raised by parents or an authority figure, oftentimes we hear that tone and it will turn us into a child ego state, right? Unintentionally. We don't want to be there. We might feel a little sheepish or just insecure about things. And so this can happen. Now, there's one other place in sales. Maybe it's your first sales job, or maybe you're brand new at a company and you don't know everything yet. Sometimes you might come in with a little bit of a child, tender, soft approach because you're just not sure of yourself. So that can happen too. Now, here's a little secret. Oftentimes, that parent ego that we think we hear from a prospect isn't a parent ego. And I'm going to show it to you on another screen in a second because it'll surprise you, I bet. There are times where they're an adult and you're a child or a parent. There are times where they're the child and you're a parent or an adult. This is often when you're not talking to the right decision maker or someone who doesn't have all the juice. They're excited to talk to you. Maybe they're the end user, but they can't always do everything that you need to do. They can't quite be your champion. And then ultimately, this is what a sales conversation looks like. People are going through these ego states all the time. You start the sentence in one ego state and you end it in another. And so you can imagine there's close to 70 people on this call today. Every one of you is going through these ego states right now. Is this worth my time? How's it going? Richard's been doing this for 10 minutes. He's boring. He's exciting. And I find this interesting. No, I don't. Like, there's all these things happening all the time. And so you have to be mindful of this. So when we talk about, hey, know your audience, do your research, these kinds of things, part of that is to help navigate this. Now, the goal of this exercise right here isn't to make you experts at recognizing these ego states. What I do want people to understand is that, when these things happen, this is just a natural thing that's happening in my psychology. Right? This is very normal. And hopefully, again, give you that 1 centimeter of space between feeling too nervous about something and just kind of recognizing life for what it is in that moment. Now, I'm going to go a little further. We're going to come back to this parent ego state with our prospect. Again, we try and strive to get to adult conversations. It doesn't mean someone can't get excited by what they see and go into a child ego state. It just means that when they do that, we still need to get to the adult to move forward, right? So that's where we're going. Now, this is the interesting piece to me anyway. There are 2 parts of your parent ego state. There's the critical parent ego. And that critical parent ego will bring out a rebellious child. Okay. So if you've ever thought about the times you've been criticized by your own parents or anyone and you rebel, it's natural. That's just what happens. Look, I'm 52 and my mom comes to tell me where I should put the dishes in my kitchen. And I'm like, Mom, you're kidding me. Like, please stop telling me where the dishes need to go. I can assure you it's probably not quite that polite, but from my perspective. And I'm sure my mom is doing it from a very sincere place. She's just trying to be helpful, right? But as parents and as adults, this is what happens. I got two kids who are 13 and 11. Believe me, I do the same thing to them. In many cases, I think I might just be more aware of when I do it. Now, there's also this other part of the parent ego state and the child, which is the nurturing parent. This is the one that helps you. This is the one that encourages you. And this will bring out the natural child. So when you're doing things in your sales conversations, you're trying to, in some cases, you're trying to be that nurturing parent. You're explaining something that somebody hasn't seen before, and you're hoping that piques their curiosity to pay attention. So, my goal coming into these sessions is to often be a nurturing parent. I want to make people curious. I want them to feel natural. I want them to feel comfortable. Now, there are times, even in sales training, where I say something, and even if I'm saying it is nurturing, it might be heard as critical, kind of like my mom. And I can still say something, and it still brings out the rebellious child, right? That's okay. That's healthy. It doesn't mean that you avoid them. It just means that you should be aware of them. That's the whole purpose of this exercise. And if you remember before, where we had the parent ego state and the child ego state, and this was your prospect, remember, sometimes what's really happening is that parent who has that tone, or they're frustrated or they're angry, really has nothing to do with them being in a parent ego state. It really means they're a rebellious, spoiled child. I want my price this way. I want it this way. I don't like how your product does this, right? If you think about it, what they're saying is, I want something different. And that's the child ego state. So where are you driving all this to? Where does this go? How do you get them back to that adult permission to move forward? Well, the key is you want to try and find the little professor. You want to find that child ego state where they say, I want it, but they are putting some rational thought behind it, where they're being curious, where they think about wanting to go forward. And that's a good thing, right? This is where we're going. And this is why we're talking about all this. So I'm going to pause there. Please post questions in the chat and we'll get to them. In the meantime, though, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to turn it over to Susan, because I know Susan has some amazing stuff that's going to build off of all this. So Susan, thanks for being so patient for 10 or 12 minutes, and I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I learned a lot, and I found it fascinating because it's so correlated to how we talk to people and how the position and how we create rapport. And that's what one of the things that we're going to be talking today, even though it's going to be a brush, our classes are way in deep. So if today you feel like you learn a little in an hour and something, can you imagine what it's going to be 8 hours or 2 days with Richard and myself? Believe me, you're going to walk in as a human and live in as a superhero.
That's awesome. So, Susan, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and we will go from there.
Okay. I want to have at least 2 candidates to get read. Richard, you want to pick?
I saw a couple of them. I saw an old colleague of mine, Kathleen Mann. Are you still there, Kathleen? I'm going to have you come off mute and do it. Let's see. Ask to unmute. Go for it, Kathleen.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Kathleen, I'm gonna pin you.
You have a camera, Kathleen?
Yeah, do I need to put the camera on?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hold on for one. Can you hold on for 1 second?
All right, we'll go over to Thomas and we'll come back to you. Thomas,
Okay,
come on.
back to me. Yeah.
Thomas, can you talk so I know who you
Yeah,
are?
hi.
There he is.
Hi, Susan. Hey,
Hey, Thomas, I'm gonna pin you.
how's it going?
Good. Oh, oh la la, oh la la. Well, I assume even though you have your headphone on, that you have small ears, meaning that you are visual. In order for you to sell you something, like, ooh, yeah. So in order for me to sell you something, I need to show you. You like the experience. If I need to sell you a car, it says, hi, Thomas, where you looking? Well, I'm looking for an RV. Okay, I need to take you to the lot and make you feel the experience. People who is visual is kinetic. So for you is living the experience and feel it. As soon as you feel it, you own it. You're going to buy clothing. The worst things somebody can do is says, oh, I'm going to put your clothing on the dressing room. You even can forget that you got that clothing. You need to live the experience. You probably have color-coding calendars. You organize things in a way that is visual for you to get it done. Tell me how I'm doing.
Not too bad. Yeah.
All right. So let me dig in, Thomas.
Oh, that is a
on point.
nervous laugh, by the way. You see how the picture like, ha, 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 ha. Sorry, I don't want to.
So Thomas,
Yes.
what did she get right?
About going to the clothing store, I like to try things. I like to do things the way I want to do it. I'm a visual person. All of those things were right. About the color coding and stuff, I'm not. I've just recently got into it, so it's something that I was like, all right. It's not something I've been doing for a while. It's just something that I started recently, and I found that works for me.
Yeah. So what I'm reading now on you, how I'm profiling you, is the person that you are today. We change every 7 years. Our face change every 7 years, and we can manage to be changing with times. Sometimes we have a tendency or a preference under stress, but we can educate ourselves to be maximizing. You're in the process to become more organized, maximizing your time, and realize how to make balance in your life.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Susan, all right. I'm going to pause for a second on you. And the obvious question coming from Carla, how do you know this? How could you do this in 90 seconds or even 30 seconds? What were the cues that you saw from Thomas that gave you this? So anyways, I'm going to pause there. And then Thomas, obviously, if you have a question, take a minute and think about everything Susan said and let us know what question you have too.
Before everything, Thomas, you and we ever met before, or we agree on the reading before this live?
No, we haven't met before.
Okay, so that's where you can learn with Richard and myself to do with your clients by a picture on LinkedIn or by a live video. What is called is face reading profiling. I can only reading, and I can read on a person over 230 features, telling me if you're aware about the finances, that you like luxury, if I need to take you to live experience, if you're visual, if you're audit, how I need to communicate, how I need to send the emails. That's what we teach. And believe me, after a couple hours, you can learn it too.
So Susan, give away, 290 of them, give away 3. Like what were 3 things you noticed immediately? You talked about the ears thing, but how did you know he is visual?
Yeah.
What about that?
For example, the way he have, and I'm so happy that you have headphones and I didn't see your ears in the beginning, is because I can determine for the way you headphones are seated in your face and the back part of your glasses, that you don't like to be rushed on things. You learn in your own time. You prefer to share with others the experience of learning. But if I rush you to make decision or I give you too much information, you get visual and overloaded. And you probably want to go slow when I need to talk to you. You have low ears compared to the outer canter of your eyes, and you have a small ears. And I can determine that even with your headphone on. Another thing, you like facts and data. You want 1, 2, 3. You don't like the story. You want to go to where you need to go. You don't like to be overloaded with information. So you want to go to the point. If I give you the story about my mom, what happened with my dog, I'm like, oh my God, when this woman is going to stop? Tell me just what you want.
But how do you know that? Like, how does that tell you that? That's the thing.
Oh, you want to give all the secrets away in one time? I'm going to actually, from all the features on the face, I'm going to show you, for me, one of the 3 most important. I read that in your eyebrows. And by the way, you're wearing glasses. So seeing your eyebrows can be difficult, but I know that you have straight eyebrows because your eyeglasses are straight. And everybody, you show like expression in your eyebrows, and we're going to talk why it's so important. Your eyebrows always go flat. So meaning they're flat. It's like a line, 1, 2, 3. If I give you more than 5 facts, you get distracted. I can read that in your eyebrows, and I read the 2 features that are covering your face. The other one will be easy to read, but you can learn to read it too.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. Thomas, before I put you back on mute, do you have a question about this?
No, I'm just like, how is she figuring all these things out just by looking at my face?
Right.
And I'm not trying to show anything. So yeah.
I got a message from someone set privately, and so folks feel free to DM your question. When you're doing this kind of stuff, Susan, are you looking at Thomas's background? Are you seeing that, wow, he's got this organized bookshelf, you know, he's probably an organized individual, or do you not even look at that kind of stuff that's not body language?
First of all, I see the face. I read the face, so I learn how you need to intake information, how you need to process information. When I start giving information, I see the body language and the micro expressions. And when I need to confirm something or create rapport with you, I'm gonna say like, oh, you like to organize your books by colors or by topic. And that's where the background come up. When I cannot find rapport and it's getting difficult, that's when I go into your background. But yes, I do include the background if I need to create rapport. But what I did in the beginning was 100% reading his face.
That's awesome. Thomas, you have a question for Susan? Yet? No, you're good? All right, Kathleen, you're up. You ready?
Okay, I'm gonna remove the pin.
Yeah.
Catherine, if you can talk so I can allocating you about the pin too.
Yep, I pinned her up.
Hi, Mario.
Yep, I pinned her up.
Oh, Catherine, I'm sorry. I'm horrible with with what I do for a living. I'm horrible with first impression with people that says, oh, I'm a profiler. Okay, bye. And pronouncing names. I'm horrible, so my apologies for this. Okay.
That's okay.
Kathleen, it's happened to you that you go in an Uber or you go in an elevator and people start talking to you. I'm like, I don't want to know that your husband is cheating on you. Why are you talking to me? It's like a 3-floor flat. Why are you talking to me? I'm in the lift. I don't want to talk to you. It happened to you?
A lot.
So you're in sales, correct?
I am, yes.
Well, that is your gift. You make people talk. So you're a people person. You like people, you like animals, you like plants. You can connect with them. You can connect in an empath way, even you like it or not. That's how you process information. You make people like to talk to you. You have a baby face. You have that face that I want to talk to you. Tell me.
Yeah, that is so spot on. It's crazy that you say that because I hear that, like, people connect with me all the time, and I actually ironically work with law enforcement, especially hostage negotiators, every single day, and they just connect with me, and it's just an amazing process. I feel like I am blessed with a gift, and I never knew I had it. And when I worked with Richard, it was my first sales job ever. Yep. I did not have any sales background whatsoever. I was like, I'm not a salesperson. And I am.
You're a natural born people person. And
yes.
What I need to buy, like Richard says, we have the emotional and the rational brain. My emotions go there. And when I need to make the decision, my left brain pull. But because you're likable and gullible, and I want to talk to you because you pay attention for your faces, your smile is open. So I want to go to you. You make people feel more comfortable. Another thing, you're capable, even though if you don't like it, and everybody have a different dictionary. So if I say it wrong, please correct me so I can rephrase. You can do the same thing every day, even if you don't like it, but you're the kind of person that you can be like methodical to do things. Like you need to do filing, even you hate it, you're gonna do it because it's your responsibility to do it. You're responsible for that. So you're the kind of sales rep that is gonna send the emails, is gonna get the invoices, is gonna follow up on the client. So you're gonna be my follow-up person if I have in my sales team.
Yes, absolutely. I think Richard can attest to that. I kind of go above and beyond at any aspect of the sales process. I really feel like follow-up and connecting with the people is very important, but not to an obnoxious point, just where they feel comfortable. And they reach out to me all the time. My phone rings all the time, and it's the strangest thing in sales. It really is. It's bizarre. You don't have people calling you. You know, usually you're having to follow up with them, and my phone rings all the time. And it's a blessing. It really is.
Well, you
awesome.
have a
So,
gift.
Susan, what gave it away? What told you these things
Okay,
about?
first of all, and by the way, this woman have more stamina. The Olympic team, she can go 20 hours. You need to like get a wet towel and punch her to stop. First of all, the white of the cheek is telling me the stamina and the energy. So she's going to be replying emails at 10 p.m. Second of all, she have a round cheek, jaw, cheeks, face. So she's likable. She have round eyebrows. So she connect with people. She have a small nose and a ball on the nose. So you have a creative side. So you probably like to do something like music or maybe decorating or you put your clothing together. So I know that she's going to be doing the things. She's going to be a follow-up. And if I need to sell you, I need to say, Kathleen, send me an email when you want to do the follow-up. I don't need to be so worried to follow up with her. She's going to do it. The last thing I'm going to say about her, this is thinking, this is emotion and money and doing. You're a thrifter. You know how to live and how to look for things and do budget. You think about what you're going to be doing. You're doing what you need to do. And after that, even though you're a people person, considering who get offended, because your job is to get the things done.
Correct. That's amazing. I'm blown away right now.
Well, the only place you can have this kind of training in sales, guess what? Talk to the
So-
boss.
All right. So, Susan, what I know you had some other stuff you were going to show some folks.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure, so we're going to give you a chance to do that too. We've had like 6 other people ask to be read today.
We can reorganize the presentation based on the audience. Guys, you are the boss. By the way, Kathleen, you're going to the hostel negotiator in Texas?
We're looking at, yeah, I believe we might be. I know that we're definitely, yeah.
I'm presenting. I have 2 sessions because the first one was sold out. So I'm going to be training these 2 hostel negotiators that is completely different. So I hope to see you there. Thank you.
That's great. I will definitely come say hi.
Thank you. Richard,
Thank you.
take it away and tell me what you want to do. You're the boss.
Well-
I'm the monkey. You make it clear on the beginning.
So I want you to get in and just show people a few more of these skills, right? Like show them some of the other things they can walk away with in terms of their ability to walk out of here going, oh, now I know what to do, right? So that's kind of what I would love for you to share a little bit more on.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to the presentation.
Yeah.
I can stay a couple of minutes after. So if you guys want to stay, okay, we're gonna have some videos, and we're gonna talk about things that. Can you see my second screen?
We see us. I see us.
Okay, I mess it up. You see, in order to get really good in what I do, I need to mess it up with something else. So, screen 2. Now you can see the screen.
Yep, just hit forward.
So when you say ask, like, oh, dumb, I'm the monkey. Definitely, I'm the monkey. Okay, guys. We're going to start talking about body language, and bear with me. This is a little small resume of what we can train, and we can go in deepness. This is an interactive class. I have a high accent, and when I'm trying to speed it up, it's go horrible. So stop me, tell me if you don't understand. Richard, you're in charge of the questions.
Yep.
First of all, we're going to talk about myth. We have been taught for a long, long time things related to body language that science, thank God, that's where we base what we do. And I call it witchcraft as a joke, because when I say sign, people are like, oh, this is going to be boring. As you see, it's not boring. We're going to talk about things that have been taught us wrong. We're going to talk about mirroring, but I'm going to give you a tip way better than we did on the podcast with Richard. We're going to talk about verbal mirroring. We're going to talk about crossing arms, what it means and what it no, because we're going to talk about the eye movement, and we're going to talk about baseline. Why it's so important to get a baseline. And I have cats, so I'm touching my face because I have hair all over the house. Now, questions, and you can unmute yourself. Do you think these 2 people are open to each other or not?
We'll put that in the chat. That's a good one.
They're connected or not? They're creating rapport. Richard?
Yeah.
We have volunteer people start leaving the room because they don't
Yeah,
want to
there's
be
tons
read.
of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that say yes. There's a couple of people, I agree that it's, he's interested, she's wary. Someone has said there's an open sternum area, so that means yes. Some people have said no, they've got things in between their bodies, so that means no.
There we go. We have a winner. What happened? When you go into the doctor or you go into a place that you don't want to be there, you put something in front of you. So everything can be shown, but he's staring at her and both have something on their hands. When you have someone who has something on their hand, give it a second thing, so they need to open the arms. So it's not a good point to put things between people. Actually, in a date, you can know what date, if the date is going well, because people start moving things like the glasses, the cups, and things between them. And now you can know things are going well.
How do you,
What about, yeah.
so how would you measure that in a Zoom call though? Right? So I've got a microphone in front of me. You don't have one in front of you. You know, a lot of us are doing sales on Zoom. Is there a way to determine that, or is it kind of like, well, now
If I'm doing this with my pencil, what happened?
Oh, now it's in between us. I see.
So I can put that, I can put the book like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna take notes. So try to open, so grab one pencil, but don't do this. So you can do this, that meaning that listen, but be careful with the things like, I'm talking to you like, Richard, okay, yeah. It's the same. It's not so different between body language and Zoom and in person. You just need to how to do the translation. When I'm going to London, I still need to take the elevator. I just need to name it differently.
Got it. Got it. Okay, go ahead. Go to the next one.
Yes, sir. Now, what happened with this? What do you think is going on here?
I think they're connected.
Well, the gentleman on the left have all the right posture. Now the second one have the hands on the pocket.
Right.
If the second one is declined, I need to make something to make sure that the hands are out of the pocket. We need to make sure. The first thing that people look at you are your hands. Believe it or not, if you're walking on the street and I cannot see your hands, and by the way, your hands help you to quantify, make expression, make it like, we're gonna make this deal together. These are really good assets that you can use when you're doing sales. So do not hide it, and try that your client doesn't hide it either. Make sense?
It does. Yep. Yep.
Okie dokie, let's go for the next one. Now, crossing arms. How many of you have heard that when somebody's crossing their arms, they're close to your idea?
All the time. I hear that all the time.
Well, what if I tell you that when somebody's ready to pull the deal and they're agreeing with you, they're going to cross their arms too?
Wait, say that again. I want everybody to hear that again.
So when somebody's about to make a decision on the deal you're proposing, either in a negotiation or a sales, if the person crossed their arms and pulling lean to you and move the head to a side, they're thinking and they're agreeing with you. The only time the right part of the brain, the emotional cell, and the logical part of your brain get together is when you cross in your extremities. You're in balance. Like when you go into yoga and you cross in your arms and your legs, is because that gives you balance. Now, I'm going to show you some examples when you need to be paying attention to the context to make sure that crossing arms is positive and not negative. Do you think these people is close to you or they're open? What is the body language and the arms are telling you?
People go in the chat. I don't need to answer all these.
Okay.
Open, 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 open. Everybody's
Ooh, we have a really well-educated crowd. Yeah, there are. The sternum, believe it or not, the palms are visual. You can see the palms. Now, we're going to easily know when this situation, I don't know if it's one of them is sleeping with the dog tonight.
Right. Probably
You
him.
see? The shoulders, there is a difference. So you need to start paying attention to the context.
Can you go back? Can you go back and show those shoulder things again between those two?
Yeah, you see the shoulders here?
Yeah.
You can see the t-shirt. So you don't need to even see the shoulder. You can see the t-shirt and you can see the folder on the chest. That's meaning that the t-shirt is on the front.
Okay. What about the one before though? Go to the front, where they were open. That
You
one.
can see the shirt is different. And it's a real smile. The real smile is not on the mouth. You can see the crossfit.
So a real smile's in the eyes. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you guys why when people wearing masks, it's easy to read them than when they're not wearing masks, because you don't get distracted. You're going to pay attention to the right place. Ooh, you didn't know that. Okay. So now he's presenting and she is not happy with him. Definitely somebody's not happy. So read the room. When you learn to read the room, you don't get distracted by myth. So when somebody's crossing the arms, try to recall what you say. One of the phrases that I love the most, and it says in Pulp Fiction, when Uma Thurman is with Travolta, says, "I'm talking. You're listening or you're waiting to reply." So you need to listen both parts. And sometimes taking your time to reply is good, because meaning that you're not holding your answer in your head. So you can better read the room until you get training really fast to know how to do it. Now, eye movement. When people says that this is how I know when somebody's lying or not, how many of you heard that? Oh, this is clear. I know that somebody's lying if the eyes are moving to the left or moving to the right, up and down. Well, guess what? In 2011, there were studies showing there is no correlation in how you move the eyes and if somebody's constructing information. And you're like, what? I've been told this for years. What are you talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is that you need to do a baseline. What is a baseline? We're going to talk now about what is a baseline. And we're going to use Mr. Bill Gates. I'm going to show you a video done more than 30 years ago and today, and you're going to see why you need to be really careful when you baseline someone. Let's go for it, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let me know if you can hear it.
To create a new standard, it takes something that's really new and really captures people's imagination. And the Macintosh, of all the machines I've ever seen, is the only one that meets that standard.
Okay, he's lying. That's the first thing that we know. Now, how and when he's lying. Okay, Richard, don't hate me.
I don't know, but anyone can anyone tell? I have no idea. If one person says when he looks away, someone's asked if you could replay it one more time, Susan.
It's not fair, but since you asked, I'm gonna do it.
No.
Okay, we're gonna put it here when the action happened. Here we go.
Imagination. And the Macintosh, of all the machines I've ever seen, is the only one that meets that standard. To create a new standard, it takes something that's really new. And
So, what the audience says.
I think when he did this last little, he said it's the one that meets the standards. He turned his head and then he shifted his eyes back to the other side. It was almost like he was shaking his head no.
Anybody else? At least one?
When he shrugs, when he says Macintosh, movement of the shoulders, that blink, the long blink from someone. That's
Okay.
what's coming in through the chat. Flat
I'm gonna
smiling,
I'm gonna show you why baseline it's so important. And he's not lying when he shrugged the shoulder. Confused? Sorry, but that's the reason we need to determine how to do a baseline. I'm gonna show you another video of Bill Gates and pay attention to the same shoulder. And you're gonna see that it's a baseline for him. And I'm gonna show you when and how he's lying.
That we picked two causes, whatever the biggest inequity was globally, and there we looked at children dying, children not having enough nutrition to ever develop, and countries that were really stuck because with that level of death, and parents would have so many kids that they get huge population growth, and that the kids be educated and lift themselves up. So that was our global thing. And then in the US, both of us had amazing educations, and we saw that as the...
Do you see what he does with the shoulder all the time? So it's a common denominator for him. So when you see somebody only going with the shoulder, can be a tic. So that's the reason you need, when you start talking with a client, you need to start asking about the weather, how they're doing, if they're tired, get control questions. And we can go in another chance to go deeper about the control questions, but do not get confused that because somebody is doing this with the shoulder, they're lying to you. Now, I'm going to show you where he is lying and how. Ready, guys? You want to see why and how?
All the machines I've ever seen is the only one that meets that standard.
When he says meet the standards, he does two things. We put it here. He look away, for the one who got it, he look away, he pierces his lips, look, get saliva, like, and he have a contempt. Contempt is the only micro expression who happen to look like a smile, like, I'm getting away with this. So there are three clusters: looking away, changing on the pitch of the voice, closing the lips, like when I don't like what I'm saying, my lips disappear, they're contract, and the other one is when he salivate deeper. Any questions about this? Why it's important to do a baseline before start reading people on the wrong way?
Yeah, so I'm just going to repeat what I said, and folks, if you've got a question, ping me up on the chat. We'll have you come off mute and ask. But repeating, so the first thing is you need to sort of, one, establish a little bit of rapport with that, how's the weather, those kinds of things. And so the rapport you're building isn't necessarily the emotional rapport, it's the rapport reading their body language a little bit. That's what I'm hearing from you.
So you have emotional rapport, you have baseline rapport, and you have business rapport.
Yep.
So those are different, like, but again, we can do this in like 8 hours or 2 days of training. So putting everything together is like, I would love to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and probably Richard and I, we're going to make some damage and invite you guys, but to go deeper in this, but at least you have takeaways that you can use like this evening from this training.
Yeah, Carla's got a question. I pulled you off mute, Carla. Go ahead.
Yeah, just my question, what are some good examples of controlled questions? I know you said weather, but are there a few no-brainer sure questions you can share?
We're going to talk, one of the things that I want to do after that is we're going to talk about verbal mirroring. Remember when I says that mirroring, it's danger and you need to do verbally. Why? If I don't know what I'm reading, I don't know what is the expression you're doing, and what I don't understand what your body is doing, I can be only provoking a reaction that you already have. I'm going to show you a good way to do verbal mirroring instead of baseline. Ask me a question, Carla. Any question from what is the color of the socks that I'm wearing? Yeah?
Where did you get your glasses?
I get my glasses online. I love it. They're bulky. Where you get yours? Look like you like it too.
Warby Parker.
Did you see what I did and what you did? When you asked me where I get my glasses, I told you where I got them. I compliment yours, and I give you something personal so you can share with me. You only give me the name of the company because obviously you're nervous and you're exposed. But in order to set a baseline and create verbal mirroring and rapport, you need to always reply at least one part of the question on the answer and share something private. You don't need to say like you have your period. No, not that private. Just like, yeah, by the way, I need to get my glasses because my dog ate the last ones. Like, oh my God, you have a dog? I have a dog too. Now we have rapport.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Those are extreme examples, but Richard knows, and I don't have a lot of filters.
Yeah, I'm gonna have Perry's got a question, and then we'll get back to you. Sort of go into some of the other things. Perry, go ahead.
Oh, great. So I was wondering if there's particular ways to ask questions, because I've heard that using words like why, for example, can cause issues and judgments and things. Are there any particular ways to ask the questions apart from mirroring?
Yeah, why it's a complicated way because can feel like a judgment. You have open-ended question and you have closed-ended question. Closed-ended questions are call of action. Are we going to have another meeting? Yes or not? They're needed. It's not that you don't need to have it, but open questions is where I ask you something where you cannot feel obliged to give me more information to that. You need to do it elicitation. Elicitation is a way to make questions without making feel the other person you interview them. And like, for example, hey, Perry, love your question. You look like you have an accent. Where are you from?
Oh, he may have gone on mute. There you go, Perry. Go ahead.
I'm from London. I'm glad you like my accent. Obviously, you've got an accent. Whereabouts are you from?
I'm from South America. I was raised, born and raised there. I actually studied in London. What part of London you are?
I'm in Holloway, which is there's nothing to study in Holloway much, but yeah, it's what did you think of London?
I love it. Oh my God, fish and chips and a good pint after 5 p.m. That's one of the things, and I love to work with you guys. They always have time for fun. Do you see how I know where you are, that you don't have any to study? So probably I can sell you a class. I can sell you a training. We establish rapport. I was specific about the fish and chips and the pint, and you guys do it after 5 p.m. That is a way. It's not that complicated, but you need to be fast in your shoes. And if you have the chance to research on the person that you're going to be dealing with, get things that are near to their heart, they're classic, and you can say, I hate fish and chips. And why you like them instead to fish and chips, or why you don't like them? Establish a conversation. Don't look like you have written a speech. When I call someone and read me a speech, like you call customer service on the credit cards, I'm so sorry for your problem. Like, no, you're not sorry. Just fix this. And they get me more aggravated that they're reading their speech. And as soon as it says, I'm so sorry for your problem, for your inconvenience, we're going to fix it. I feel your pain. Like, no, you don't feel my pain. I lost 1 hour of my time today. So establish conversation.
That's awesome. All right, where do we go from here, Susan? What is next?
Okay, we're going to go fast to face reading and micro expressions because I know we are so way behind, but I think the face reading was worth it. So Richard, you tell me when you want me to stop so we can go with you.
All right. Let's go another 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll see if there's more questions and go from there.
Yes, sir. Micro expression, Darwin started with this in 1872. Those are the 7 universal micro expression. We have happiness, fear, sadness, dislike, contempt, and surprise, and anger. Now, you want to learn how to read micro expressions with a mask? Guess what? The 7 micro expressions do not happen in your mouth, happen in your eyes. So I have a slide with the same expression. You want to learn how to do it? Put a mask and look yourself in the mirror. So if you learn to read micro expression with mask, you can do it whatever you want. Now, I'm going to talk about 2 micro expressions that for me are the most complicated and serious if you don't know how to read it. First, happiness is smile. A fake smile is a suicide. A real smile is a win-trust situation. A fake or wrong smile can elevate stress hormones, believe it or not. Something happens when you shake hands, you elevate oxytocin. Oxytocin is the bonding, the happy face, the happy hormone. Now that we are not shaking hands, who by the way is equal to 3 hours of human interaction, and believe it or not, you can spend an hour training someone how to shake a hand. The only way that you can get oxytocin is when somebody smiles. When somebody like your status on Facebook, shake your hand, your brain release oxytocin. You ever want to control a complete stranger mind? You just smile to them. They're going to smile back to you. You're going to win them. And both of you are going to elevate oxytocin. So how you do that in Zoom? Start with a smile. Don't get your boogers on your nose when you get in Zoom. Get a top if you're not ready, but you're always ready with a smile is welcoming. Now, what do you think is the most dangerous micro expression, and most people do not realize this? We have volunteers.
Frowning lips, frowning,
Micro expressions.
disgust, eyes, smile, sarcasm, breaking eye contact.
Guess what? Surprise. Why surprise is so dangerous? Surprise is the only expression who doesn't come alone. Surprise is your birthday. It's a surprise party. Surprise, the price is too high. Surprise, I found my partner kissing somebody else in a restaurant. Surprise, now I'm mad. Surprise is the whole way to hell. When you see surprise, what happened after? When a dog gets surprised, they start barking to you. When you get surprised because you hear a noise on the street, you don't know if it's a shooting. Believe me, in Chicago, when you hear the back of a car, you don't know if somebody's shooting you. You automatically want to go to the floor. So after that is fear, and after that anger, because I don't understand what happened. So when you see surprise, wait for it. Something else is coming. Questions? Before we go to the juicy part, face reading. I just knocked my hand against the wall.
What do you want to do another facial reading? Is that what you said?
No, we're going to talk about face reading, but
Okay.
I want to know if we have questions. Both? Keep going?
Yeah, keep going. I think people are just like, they're blown away and they're just like, keep giving us more. So they're
Oh,
sticking
you're
around,
so
they're liking it.
nice. Thank you. Okay. Who are known for using face reading and being training? By the way, we're not going to talk about academics and story, but this has been going on for 5,000 years. So these are companies that I train, and they're publicly saying they are being trained in face reading. They train the sales reps, they train the managers, and they train even the person who it's on the counter for American Airlines. What do you think they offer you the upgrade and not somebody else because you're willing to pay it? How? I need to see your nose. Face reading has been studied from Harvard for a long, long time. Professor Holm in 1863, by the way, Abraham Lincoln was a face reading profiler. The picture tells no lie. So when they want to analyze someone, just ask for a picture. Since pictures were invented, now we can read everyone. Face reading is so important that last year, the 31st annual IG Nobel Prize ceremony was given to a group of researchers who identify how to determine if a person has narcissistic traits only by the eyebrows. If you can read, again, 3 things in a person, I want you to read the ears, the height, and the eyebrows. Why eyebrows are so important? Because it's how we process information. Tell me, how weird is this picture? Whoa. It is weird, no?
Yeah.
Study published in 2002 determined that people cannot identify you if they don't see your eyebrows, that they can identify you if they don't see your eyeball sockets. And I'm going to show you something funny. I'm a geeky. I'm trying to make it funny, but still a geeky.
It's all right.
Tell me, what is the expression you see in this face?
Have folks chime in. I'll answer, but I want people to chime in on the chat. Blank, sad. I see sad.
What happened with this one?
Now it's really sad.
What happened with this one?
Now it's just blank.
What happened with this one? I don't think you're going to make that sale.
Yeah.
Do you know the only thing that I changed? The
Yeah.
position of the eyebrows. It's crazy how important eyebrows are. I'm going to show you part of the study. Can you tell me the name at least of one of these people? I would say maybe it's easy to unmute. I don't know, the boss allow you to unmute.
People can put, yeah, I see the middle one. Kardashian is who we're getting. We're also getting Rihanna. We're getting Justin Bieber.
Great, guys, you got them. Now, we're going to do the same exercise, but what the original study did. It's more difficult.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the eyebrows. It's freaky, no? It's freaky how much you can read on your clients. So let's go to the fun part. What are you going to learn today about face reading? We're going to learn 3 shapes of eyebrows. Now, in face reading and the eyebrows, you have the shape, the amount of hair, how high. So we can read around 14 things. But we're going to learn 3 that actually want to go to your partners or co-workers and start practicing. We have 3 shapes: high arch, pointy like a triangle. We have round, that's the one we read in Kathleen. And we have no arch, that the one that we read in Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go for the first one, curve. Naturally, mentally, emotional focus on people, generally takes others' needs and feelings into account, prefer real world examples. If you sell in a car, you need to talk about the safety features of that car have and how many life is safe and how your family is going to enjoy weekends together. If you have a software, you need to talk about how that software is going to benefit everybody on the company, how they give them more quality life and how they improve their life based on the shape of the eyebrows. Now we have a straight. 1, 2, 3. Don't tell me about the safety. Don't tell me about my family gatherings. That's something that I'm going to get by myself. Give me a logical approach. Need facts and data. Get to the point of explanations. Do not go too fast. Don't go too much. I don't care. I know what I want, how much it's going to cost, the finances, and when you can deliver. That would happen with straight eyebrows. Now, pointing, that's me. Need to be mentally in control. I need to read absolutely everything. I even need to confess, I text Richard this morning, like, can we go over about the presentation? Like, why? We have everything, like, because I want to make sure that I have everything right. Then I have the slides. What are you going to be talking? What are you going to be talking? Like, and he was like, he had a straight eyebrows, like, Susan, done. I see you 5 minutes before 1 p.m. And I love to work with Richard because he nailed me to the ground, like, stop it. It's too much information. Just nail it to the point. Thank you very much. Want to be raised based on knowledge. I don't want to be caught when somebody make me a question and I don't know about it. All these books, I promise I read them all. Evaluate carefully. A person with pointy eyebrows, they're going to need to gather all the information before they make the decision because they wanted to feel in control based on information. I don't have all the information. If I need to go to a new dentist, probably it's going to take me around 2 months because I need to check the reviews, because the dentist, what I'm going to do, I never go and buy something. It takes me weeks to decide what I'm going to buy. But what this kind of client have, once they buy from you, because it takes them so long to make the decision, they're going to be loyal like a homeless dog. So they're a pain in the neck in the beginning, but once they're done, and they're going to refer to you a lot of clients. Now, a trick. You can have symmetry on the eyebrows. Her right side of the face is the personal side. That is her right brain. That is their emotions. The left part of the picture is her business side. Now, can you see that she have different shape of eyebrows? And actually, once you start seeing, you cannot unsee them. People have different eyebrows. You need to understand how they work. Can you see the difference? We have a pointy eyebrow and we have a flat eyebrows, a straight line. How do I rate someone who have a different face? Easy. On her personal side, she needs to be in control. But on the business side, she lets somebody else to take control. She's an actress. When she go to stage, somebody else is going to take control. She's going to ask when I need to be here, how I need to do it, and what time we start tomorrow. Now, when she need to make decisions on her personal side, she want to be completely in control. Make sense?
Complete.
I know I went fast, but the good news is you're going to be reviewing the recording so
Yes.
you can go, because I want to have Richard the chance. So any questions?
Yeah, we have a question from Perry, just to save time, because we're getting to the end. I'll read it, which is, what is the personal side and the business side?
The personal side is this one. This is the personal side.
And is it the personal side because it's always the left side of the face, or that's just because that's the eyebrow that's up?
No, it's because it's always the same. When you're facing a person, actually, it's kind of confused, but raise your right hand. This is your business side.
Okay.
But you can see it on the screen. So raise your left, yeah. Raise your left hand. This is your personal side. Money, heart. What I do when we do training is I put a heart and a money sign, and I put in my glasses a sticker. Here I put a green sticker, and here I put a red sticker. Until you get to a point that you automatically, it's like the product you sell. It's like driving a car. You don't even think of the things that you do when you turn your car. Like everything, you need to incorporate it. This is not complicated. Believe me, I'm highly dyslexic. I'm supposed to be disabled, and I'm a profiler. So if I can learn it with my problem to switch faces, you can do it too. It's about practice. You cannot be dancing if you don't practice. You cannot play piano if you don't practice. You cannot be a good sales person if you don't train it. It's the same.
We have a couple of questions coming in.
Yes,
does it
sir.
matter if someone's left-handed or right-handed, or no, in terms of their side of the face?
Nope.
Okay, great.
Your face doesn't change for your hands.
Okay.
Or how you write.
So
By the way, we have only 2 more slides, so we are done.
All right. One more question while you pull up that next slide, which is just to confirm, if you're looking at someone, their left side is the business side and their right side is the personal side.
Correct. To not confuse you, do not switch it. Since you have the advantage to be in front, and by the way, trick from Zoom, this is an extra. Because you switch your image in Zoom doesn't mean that I see it switch it. In my side doesn't switch, it switch in your side, so you don't get confused, because some people is more attention to details and they get dizzy when they see themselves flip it, but Zoom doesn't flip it for me. So what you see is what you get.
All right, what are the next two? And I know we're going over, so if folks can stick around, great. If not, we'll get the recording to you as well.
This is a real press conference. People don't lie to you. We don't ask the right questions, but worse, we don't pay attention what people is telling us. Rule number 1, listen. People talk. We don't listen to understand, we listen to reply, and you hear this so many times. Please listen to this poor guy, because after I saw this video, I feel sorry. I want to collect money for him. Listen what he says.
And I appreciate my friends also. My wife and my girlfriend. My wife. Yeah, sorry to say. I'm so sorry, my wife. Listen, I love you so much. Aya, I love you so much from my heart. Né? So, my wife and my girlfriend. My wife. Yeah, sorry to say. I'm so sorry, my wife. Listen, I love you so much. My wife and my girlfriend. My wife. Yeah, sorry to say. I'm so sorry, my wife. Listen, I love you so.
She filed for divorce 5 days later, and he moved to a hotel. And by the way, he won this sport event, and she got divorced after he got the money. She got 60% of the money. Pay attention what you said, and pay attention what people is saying. It's not, Freud says that we says more when we think that we made a mistake. And when people says like, we're gonna make the decision. I'm gonna make the decision, like, whoa, we are we or I? And that is a complete different class that we do with Richard, but is in the language on the face. If I can read your face and I can use that information to read your face and after that use the words, I'm going to go with face reading and the words if I need to choose two channels. The other ones are important, but those are the witchcraft that nobody else can teach you. Richard, and since words are so important and we need to have the right to ask questions, boss, it's all yours.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes over, so we're gonna have to stop on the earning the right to ask questions piece, unfortunately. But maybe we'll schedule a second one of these. But I really wanted to make sure that Susan got all this out because I knew it was just going to be amazing. I'm actually already seeing people posting some stuff on LinkedIn, which we really appreciated. So we will get the recording out to everybody. Yes, I'll re-record the beginning so everybody has it. And thank you all very much. Please connect with us on LinkedIn or email if you want. And we really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you all.
Bye, guys.